Sonic, meet Knuckles.
I've been training for this my entire life.
And I have no training at all, yet here I am ahead of you.
Just hope we're not too late.
Oh Lord, there are two of them now.
You're never going to get my power.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
You heard it up top. The blue blur is back. We are racing through the Green Hill Zone to talk about one of our favorite topics returning. That's right, it's a sequel episode because we're talking Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on Normies Like Us with your hosts, Dr. Colin Otnick.
I'll be Mike Coles.
Yeah, and this is Nuck Jacob.
And we're joined by special guest.
Oh, sorry, thank you. I'm Adam the Nutria.
Ooh, there we go.
There we're going. So yeah, we're back at it again. Sonic is back. Sonic Speed.
Wow.
I just looked back. We did, I believe, the very first episode on Sonic the character was like episode 41, maybe. Episode 86 was Sonic the movie. And now we're on episode 189. So almost 100 on the dot.
That's amazing.
Kind of consistent. Thank you, Time. I love that.
Yeah.
Effect.
So it's been 2 years since Sonic 1 came out. So maybe it's a good time, starting with our guest Adam, who's been on here for Sonic before. Let's recap maybe our general thoughts on Sonic 1 and Sonic in general, and then we'll jump into Sonic 2 proper after this.
We should say, I mean, we did that ep on Sonic 1. Go back and listen. It was you, Mike. It was me, Mike. But, you know, when we talk the biggest franchises, we get one guy. When we talk Alien, when we talk Star Wars, when we talk Star Trek, when we talk
Lord of the
Sonic the Hedgehog, we throw that ring out, and through the portal comes Adam. And we're just so happy you're here, buddy.
I'm so happy to be here to ruin your wedding. This portal. Truly, this is a franchise for me that means just about as much as any. I'm a big Sonic fan.
Wow.
Grew up playing Sonic games. The Game Gear was the first console I ever had. Sonic 2 on the Game Gear. One of the first games I kind of played around with. Big Sonic Adventure fan. The last movie I was pleasantly surprised by. Had a great time. And I don't know, should I reveal my feelings about this one? Or am I supposed to say...
Let's hold the feelings on Sonic 2.
Save it.
We gotta.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't want to just be leaking rage the entire podcast.
yeah, for sure. Jacob.
So
go ahead.
Sorry, the one other thing I wanted to say is I'm coming into this having not seen a movie in the theater since Sonic 1 came out.
Oh my God.
I waited. I thought about going to see Spider-Man. I thought about going to see Batman. I was like,
Wow.
you know what? I'm just going to hold out so that I can come out of the pandemic into Sonic 2, having watched Sonic 1 right before going in.
Just
We're now
bookending it.
2 Sonic movies into the pandemic now. That's
We can pretty much,
right.
if everything goes well, we can mark the beginning and end of it with Sonic films.
That's
know.
fair. I should
Yeah,
say
Sonic
me
3.
coming out of the pandemic, me giving up on staying hidden in my apartment until
There we
everything
go.
subsided.
Well, that
Death
just
rides
means
a
you
blue
can't see
hedgehog.
another.
So.
You can't see another movie in theaters until Sonic 3 comes out now.
Oh, no.
I think I may do that.
And
Yeah.
it has been
Yeah.
greenlit. Yeah. Jacob, you had an interesting experience where you watched Sonic 1 for the first time in preparation for this as well, and then
Yes.
Sonic 2, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I had never seen Sonic 1 in theaters or elsewhere until 2 nights ago when I watched it for the first time. And I got Paramount Plus just to watch Sonic.
You're a
so-
PP boy
Wow.
now.
PP
Yeah,
boy.
PP boys.
You're a Paramount Plus boy. How has that experience been? And yeah, what did you think of the first one?
It's been terrible, first of all. Paramount Plus, just a little side tangent. I hate it so far. I was wanting to get it for a while just to watch certain things like Star Trek, Picard,
Picard.
and Picard on PP,
Mm-hmm.
the Halo series, which I've also heard is terrible. But I finally got it. And I was like, you know what, Sonic's on here. I'll get it to watch Sonic. I was also watching some Next Generation, Star Trek: The Next Generation episodes, which used to be on Netflix, you may remember, and you could watch them ad-free.
Paramount says,
on
screw
Netflix.
you. Those are our rights.
Yeah.
That's
so
very
Paramount take all the
unfortunate.
Star Treks. And then I was watching an episode of TNG, there's five ad breaks in one episode because there's
You get the
two,
broadcast
there's
experience.
Yeah, exactly. But the other annoying thing is they don't even put them in the original ad breaks. Like
Really?
they're all like 30 seconds after, so it'll like come
Right.
back from break, and then it'll be like in the middle of someone's sentence. It'll cut to commercial for like a minute and a half. And
Come on, that
sounds horrible.
Criminal. That's
Yeah.
awful.
and there is 2 tiers, of Paramount Plus. You can get it with no ads for like a couple extra dollars, or with limited ads, they say, for $5.99 or $4.99, which is what I got. But it's just like, man,
What have we done?
It seems they're pretty tone deaf about how hard it is to get anybody to pay for it any way, shape, or form. And maybe
Yeah.
there should just be only a no ad version.
right. And it's like any subscription service that I'm paying for, I don't want to also watch ads. That's just me, but I'm also not willing to pay for the more expensive versions. So, but
You just get oddly placed ads. So negative review of the subscription service. But what are your general
so
thoughts
happy
on the
with it.
Sonic movie? I know that was painful, but
yeah, well, that's the
how
only
was it
reason I
after
got
that?
it, was the content was interesting enough to me to get it. So I was like, okay, whatever. Sonic.
Hold on, real quick. Justifying some network executive blasting rails of cocaine who's like, we own Sonic. Sonic's going to get people to subscribe to this thing.
Right. Yeah, but they got me, I guess. I mean, technically, I'm still on the free week-long trial, so I can still cancel. But
There you go.
I guess I want to watch Picard, whatever. Anyways, Sonic, the movie, it was fine. I thought it was kind of what I
What is
expected.
crowd
It.
reaction?
That's a trademark Joe line. It was fine.
Yeah, I thought, people were saying, oh, it's like the greatest, video game movie of all time. Maybe it is, but I think only because there really isn't that many good video game adaptations. So by default, it kind of is, because it's like good enough.
Still the best.
Yeah, but no, I thought it was decent, and it
Okay.
was the good thing about it is it's an hour and a half. You get in, you get out, nice and quick. That's what I liked about it the most. Nice little introduction.
Yeah.
But not too much to say about it, I guess.
Jacob,
Gotcha.
I listened to our past episode, and I believe the three of us all agreed that prior to this, the Super Mario Brothers was kind of our favorite video game movie. Is that yours? Do you like the Doom, the Dwayne the Rock Johnson film?
Well, I was thinking about this, and it's interesting because, okay, so for instance, there's this Last of Us series that they're making.
Oh,
on
right,
HBO,
yeah.
which I think could eventually be the best. But the problem is it gets an unfair advantage because it's based on The Last of Us, which is a narrative game that's really written like a movie or like a prestige TV show or something.
Very
Like if you
cinematic.
put all the cutscenes together. So if you compare that to something like Sonic, which is a more sort of amorphous concept, different backstories depending on the game, right? Different parts of the lore. So it's a little bit more difficult to make a good movie out of it, I guess. So I have to say, even though The Last of Us, like, it just has an unfair advantage, I guess. So games like that, or something like The Witcher, I guess, because that's based on
Yeah.
books, but it's also a
Forget
video
that
game
That's
series.
and Castlevania exists too. So dang. All right, we're in
Yes,
a
and that's
world
the
of debatable
TV shows.
concepts.
Those are all
These are
series,
TV
yeah.
shows.
Those aren't movies.
Yes,
Yeah, get
that's
out of here.
true.
You're
You're
right.
right,
Disqualified. I see.
So I guess, yeah, you could go with Sonic best video game movie, unless you want to say.
Would you? Would you
Detective,
say
is
that?
Detective Pikachu in the conversation at all? for you?
Yeah, I think that's in the conversation.
Detective Pikachu, I didn't like it very much. I only saw it on a plane, and I was just not very interested.
Didn't like
so-
it, but in the conversation for sure.
I've heard a lot of people really don't like that movie. I remember seeing that and being like, oh, this is clearly the best done video game movie I've ever seen.
It's like
At
a
that
Is that
competent
based on a
movie,
video
yeah.
game or a card game? Because which came first?
The video game
Well,
is
the
called
video game
Detective
game.
Pikachu.
Well, yes, it is.
Oh,
but
there was a.
That's
It's a spin-off,
great,
yeah.
point to bring up, Adam, in that I think this will kind of transition to my thoughts in history for this thing real quick. That was a Ryan Reynolds movie at the end of the day, in my opinion. This is not a Ben Schwartz movie. He's kind of just Sonic. And even Jim Carrey, I will say, does not overpower this thing. So I saw the original in theaters. I believe I saw it alone. I can't recall. Pretty late at night. Remember just thinking, this is better than I thought. I think we all walked away in that last episode just being like, hey, they reference Sonic, they fixed him. Obviously, we have to talk about the bullying campaign that happened very publicly. And it worked, and what a shocker.
Yeah.
This one, Seeing it with Jacob, late Sunday night viewing, packed theater of little kids and families and stuff.
Yes.
This motherfucker plays, and we'll just talk all about that, dog. But Mike, I'm excited to hear your thoughts and opinions in history as well.
Yeah, you know, like Colin said, I kind of think we walked away from the first one being like, well, that was way better than it had any right to be, you know, and it's surprisingly competent, not terrible movie that happened to have Sonic in it. You know, Jim Carrey, I think, did carry that one a lot more than this one. Before I say too much, I could leave it there. But I liked it, and then I was genuinely looking forward to this movie the entire year. And
wow,
turns out, yeah.
Yeah, and I will tell you my theater experience as we go into breaking down Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
I'm kind of wondering if they can make movies like this for Sonic, and obviously they're making a Mario movie, you know, with Chris Pratt or whatever. They can, you know, using this example, like what's to stop them from making like a decent Mario movie or a Legend of Zelda movie? Like they can't be that hard to make.
Well, then maybe
God of War. It's just the list is endless of what you want, right?
Yeah.
Well, first we got to figure out if they even did this one right. So how about we save that for the wrap up? And let's get into Sonic 2, because that's a good question.
We're back. We're talking the chili dog hog himself. That's right. We're talking Sonic here on Normies Like Us. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, a little movie we all saw in the theaters. And I'm excited to hear how you guys saw it. Now, Adam and Mike, you saw it together.
What? No. We did see it in spirit together.
Oh.
There's a universe where there are two Adams, and it was a different Adam.
Oh, yes. Right. Other Adam you were with.
That's true.
There are many of us. We are strong.
Even the first person that ever existed.
You're using your Tails hologram machine.
Don't bring him up. Don't bring him up.
We gotta hide that. But no, I saw it separately from Adam, but I'm glad he saw it, and we were together in spirit. I had another friend named Adam and another friend of the show, Kaita. We all went together, and we get to the theater, and they're giving out posters. I got it right behind me. I got my Sonic 2 poster, right?
Oh, my gosh. You
got not that only free? That. Yeah, not only that. Awesome. But Sonic himself was there. I met Sonic in real life. I got a picture with the Sonic. There was Sonic. He was there.
He was there, Sonic.
Sonic. Himself?
Man, Sonic was there. Yeah, I got a photo with him and everything.
How tall was he?
He was about, he's a little bit taller than he looks on camera. He was
about
like
6'8".
Tall. He was like 7 feet tall. Yeah, he's pretty big.
Gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I met Sonic before the screening.
Did you pluck a quill?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't dare. The security was way too tight. But I was a little starstruck, not gonna lie. Like I kept it together, but man, meeting your childhood hero is pretty big for me. And then, you know, I went to the movie. I'll get into my review, but you know, the theater enjoyed it, and then there was a big after party. There was techno. There was 100,000 people in a stadium just celebrating Sonic. And then at the end of that, I got a chili dog. So it was a celebration of Sonic the entire night. Wow, it was something.
That's amazing.
To clarify, I didn't go to a Sonic after party, but I did go to a rave that I just live tweeted as if it was a Sonic after party.
And Sonic was there.
Because it might as well have been. Sonic was there too. Yeah.
You invited him? After you met him?
It was his party. It was for his movie because it's such a great success. Because let me say at the top, it is the highest grossing video game movie of all time to date.
This one that just came out?
Yes, opening weekend. Highest grossing opening weekend. Okay. So we're,
because it still hasn't crossed the budget yet, right?
No.
Okay.
So it surpassed the first movie's opening weekend too.
Yeah, and Detective Pikachu. So #1 opening weekend.
Wow.
Jim Carrey's #1 weekend too.
Wow. Jim Carrey's #1 in his whole career.
#1 opening weekend in his entire career. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That blows
bigger
my
than
mind a little
The
bit.
Mask or
but you know, Ace
Liar,
Ventura
Liar.
doesn't open
Ace Ventura.
internationally.
It's not really a good kids movie either as much, and the international appeal. So surprisingly,
That's true.
according to the numbers, it is the best video game movie ever made. But we'll debate that as we give our takes. But Adam, how was your theater experience again? Going to check this out.
Well, I kind of replicated the experience I had, or we, a group of buddies, and I, shout out Daniel T, Schaefer B. We went last year, or I guess 2 years ago. We went to Sonic 1 together. Had a nice matinee experience. You know, went and had some drinks. Walked. It's a theater close to my friend's place, so we're able to walk. You know, go have a
Nice.
drink, walk right into the theater. It was kind of like moderately full. I think it was like a 6:40 showing, so it wasn't packed. But you know, just basically a bunch of families and then the three of us.
Yes.
Very
Sounds
similar,
like
yeah.
Colin and my experience. Yes.
It was a good atmosphere, though. You know, I liked hearing different people laugh at different things, and then I feel like the three of us were laughing at a completely different set of things than the rest of
Yes.
the theater. It was enjoyable. Yeah, like the
Nice,
theater
nice.
experience was enjoyable. I'll get into my review, which may be very harsh.
Yeah, and we will.
Wow.
Yeah, we could talk generalities now, and then we'll do a spoiler thing. But like, yeah, while you're telling your experience, you know, Jacob, for example, you can let us know what you thought generally, and then we'll get into all the specific pain points.
Well, I think your theater experience, Adam, was very similar to Colin and mine. A lot of families, a lot of kids. And I was thinking, why are so many kids at this movie that me and my friend, who are both in our early 30s, want to watch? No, but obviously it's a kids' movie, right?
Yeah, why are there so many
that's
kids at this kids' movie?
Damn it.
Yes. And yeah, I thought, you know, the things that were getting the biggest laughs were not my favorite parts of the movie, which we can get into.
No,
Pretty
they
much
weren't.
anytime Sonic is not on camera, anytime there's side plots, let's say, involving some of the human characters, I was, let's say, less interested. But excited to talk about it for
The
sure.
Godzilla problem, I guess, rears its head once again. Yeah.
Yes,
Colin,
yes.
you have any generalities?
I did that Poochie joke from The Simpsons to Jacob about, like, you know, when Poochie's not on the screen, characters should be asking, "Where's Poochie?" And you know,
Yes.
it's like when Sonic isn't on screen, they should be like everybody should be talking about him. But there's a very extended subplot in this film that, again, we will talk about.
Yeah, and I guess before spoiler, they do a better job compared to the first movie, spending more time on Sonic, but that doesn't mean the time spent with humans is any less abrasive.
Well, it's weird because
Yes.
it's like more separated. Like the human characters are separated from what Sonic's
Wait, are we
doing
going to
for
talk about
most of
this
the
now?
movie.
Because I'm ready to butt heads over this.
All right, guys.
Oh, man. Might as
Spoilers
well
for
get into it.
Sonic. It's gonna happen. Let's just butt heads. Let's do it, Adam. No, what's the hot take here? Let's let him go.
I don't know. I thought, at least compared to the last film and kind of in general, I liked all the like straight man subplot of this. Like I really was thinking about this as a kids movie. And I had forgotten because the human characters are so not memorable at all. I had forgotten that this is a movie that features an interracial couple. And like that wasn't a thing I grew up with. Like that was like that wasn't something that was in my children's movies, at least not in kind of like a normal humanized way. Like
Right.
And
yeah,
I don't know. I kind of liked what all of the straight manning brought to this one. I liked the wedding stuff. I thought it was a good setup for like bringing stuff together. I did not love the Adam Pauly police officer arc. I don't need that as much. Like good for you.
No.
The character for Sonic to talk down to as if he's dumb.
yeah, that's right.
You know,
So I
Adam,
mean, I guess
agree with
quickly
you.
to
You know, I
lay
think
out. Can I lay out the what is it? The mechanics of this are? So Sonic, you know, there's a wedding for Tom's wife's sister, who was tied to the chair in the first movie and hates Tom, but she's having her big wedding in Hawaii, so they go to Hawaii, leaving Sonic by himself. And then, you know, so the whole wedding subplot sets itself up for, maybe there'll be a shenanigan with a ring. Who knows? You know, we saw it in the trailer, you know, with the snow. So not a big spoiler, but that's kind of the mechanics. They literally separate the human characters for,
I did not see that in the trailer, so this was
But
all
there's
a surprise to me. I try not to watch trailers if I know I'm going to see a movie. So I was tickled.
But there's a lot of this
what was
movie
gonna happen.
that's just set in Hawaii at this wedding before Sonic even shows up. And Adam, I agree with you. I think it's the interracial marriage angle is very interesting because what I like about it is it's just there. They don't really, no one in the film, you know, mentions it or comments on it at all. It's just very matter of fact, and I really like that.
Yeah.
It's very refreshing to see. On the other hand, I don't like the sister character very much. I didn't like her in the she's very one note, right? In the first movie, her whole character is that she hates James Marsden for some reason, and wants, you know, her sister to get divorced. But they never really explain why. She never gets any kind of character growth in the first movie. This one, she has kind of an arc with her, husband or her fiance, which is interesting. But there's a lot of this movie that's just like when they're have to save at a certain point, they have to save James Marsden and his wife, and they use the wife and the sister use all those Tails gadgets, right? And it's like that's fun, but at the same time,
amazing.
Where's Sonic?
Where is Sonic? So the Wachowskis, we're talking about Tom Wachowski and his wife, who James Marsden, Tika Sumpter, are, like Adam was saying, the straight man characters in the quote-unquote Sonic universe, who in this film are written and just decided to be, we are Sonic's parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are his mom and dad, unabashedly.
Sonic
You
is
are
a child.
We're going to use the words father and son a lot in this movie. Get ready. And something I never really thought I would ever say would be, I can't believe in this Sonic movie that I'm like, there aren't enough scenes with James Marsden, if that's what you're going for. It feels
With
like,
him
to
and
me,
Sonic
like the
together
sister-in-law character takes over the plot, where I'm like, James Marsden is not the co-star of this film anymore. And I like, old me is like, I don't even want him to know this guy to take a road trip with him. But now I'm like, that's your dad. Like, I kind of guess he has to be around a lot.
The whole family aspect is interesting, and
It's
whole
wild.
Sonic is a child, and they really play that up in this one. I don't know. I mean, I just watched the first movie 2 days ago. I don't know if it was really played up that he's literally like a child or a teenager when he's voiced obviously by an adult man, Ben Schwartz, but he's canonically a child.
He sounds like an adult man I know.
Yeah. No, he's supposed to be like a young teen maybe, right?
But this whole movie is about how he needs a family. He needs parents. He needs siblings, which are Tails and Knuckles, basically, by the end of it.
Yeah.
Who are also children. Idris Elba voiced Knuckles
These
is
two
a child.
characters are the Brangelina of adopting children, but they only adopt space aliens.
Alien children.
They just bring them all in, and they're not like even a subject. I mean, that's the way these movies work, where it's just like, oh yeah, you're in the world, and that's fine. Like we're not gonna make a big deal of the fact that you have a bunch of aliens living in.
No.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Well, you see the big twist with the wedding later that some people do care that they're harboring aliens, but I think again, it's a kids movie, and you were talking about it's cool that the interracial couple is not commented on, but also I like that it's like, yeah, we got an alien and he's our kid. So what?
Yeah.
Like this is it's like
child.
Lilo and
Orthodox
Stitch.
family.
Every family is fucking family, and I'm like, hell yeah, that's good for a kids movie. So I'm on board.
Now, and speaking of families, speaking of kids movies, important to start here again, because this was what I was hinting at up top. This particular scene in general, whatever flaws the four of us who enjoy film, studied film, have a critical eye, work in the industry thinking about it, couldn't fucking matter less. Because the way this movie played to these kids and these parents in the audience, the laughs that were occurring during the wedding hijinks without Sonic, the biggest laugh that happened in every demographic across the theater was the gun reveal of the organization, and then saying, "Is everyone here a secret agent?" And when the priest opened the book in the Bible and the gun was in there, I mean, you would have thought we were at the Spider-Man 3 that we were all just at. Like the way the audience was reacting. It was, and literally you're just there thinking like leaving it, I was so charged today just being like, I guess Sonic is one of the biggest franchises in the world. I guess Sonic the Hedgehog is just something we can all just identify and just acknowledge as like one of the greatest things to ever exist.
It absolutely is.
That moment specifically in the whole wedding subplot.
So that's our big reveal,
popular,
right?
Yeah, but with our audience, they fucking love the wedding subplot. They love the sister character, which I didn't
listen,
care for as much.
Again, we had drinks before we went into the theater, so maybe but I was, especially the guy who plays the government agent. I don't know his name, but like I thought that character actor was phenomenal, and I was just having a blast, basically watching all of it, like all the wedding sequence. And part of it was because I wasn't waiting for time to pass. I was just like, let the movie keep going. I'm having a good time.
Hell yes, Adam.
Like I might cut it out of my like critically like trying to build the best Sonic movie, but I don't know. I was having a good time.
I'm actually with you. Like after the reveal that like, oh, this whole wedding was essentially a sting just to capture Tom and his wife because they harbor an alien, and even the sister's fiance is a FBI agent. Like everybody was in on it. You know, it's like that's ridiculous. But once it became about the sister just being like, I'm gonna kill Randall. Like I actually got on board with her, just so over the top. She drifts that golf cart. I was like, "This is dumb, but I love it." Yeah.
She tumbles the cart, gets out. There's explosions behind her.
I loved
she
it.
She gets
it was
a
real
practical
explosions.
action scene.
Yeah.
Adam, things that Megan Fox doesn't shoot effects like that anymore on these big movies. This character,
A Michael Bay
actress
movie
just gets
came
to
out
come
this weekend. Guess what it lost
exactly,
to?
Mike. Oh my God, you're so right.
Yeah.
The mix, like, there's so much CG in this movie, but there are a few magic practical moments. Like, there are some points where you can clearly tell that Jim Carrey is on a wire, you know, like floating around, and it looks so good to know that he's actually floating around. It was just kind of magic. I wish there was more of that, but I'll take what I can get.
The one moment from the wedding that I did think was unintentionally funny was when James Marsden, the straight man of these movies, right? He's playing volleyball with the groom and his friends who are all like
His
super
boys.
ripped, his boys. And then he's like they kind of like flex at the end. He's like, "All right, I'll see you later," right? And he's like, "Yeah, I'll see you." And like James Marsden's supposed to be like the nerd or whatever in this scenario, but he's also super ripped.
I noticed that too, Jacob. I was like, James Marsden is fucking shredded.
Yeah.
It's like I bet they're not
he's
good
like
at
a
math.
Hollywood,
It's like
leading man. So, but he's
He's
supposed
Cyclops.
to be the nerdy guy in this scenario.
Now,
superhero,
let me get us out of the wedding here because we're gonna keep talking about it because it is the best scene in this movie.
It's the best part of Sonic. We're going to jump into it and only talk about the humans.
Exactly. Now, Adam, you were just talking about the special effects. Let's go around and give our opinion on some very key special effects, which are the critters in this movie. We have 3 now, as we said up top: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles. And we all kind of agreed last time he looked great for what they had to do. With the limited amount of time, he looked just about as good as he looked. Did that hold up? Does he look better for you? Do they all look pretty good?
Can I quickly preface this, and then I want to throw it to Adam first. The company that fixed Sonic went out of business between that movie and this movie because animation doesn't pay well, and it really sucks.
Right.
So they died that Sonic may live, and we wouldn't have Sonic 2 without them. So this moment of silence, animation industry is tough.
Removed each tooth out of that weird monster's face one by one.
And used them to
gone.
devour their own tail. Tails, as it were. So, Adam, the new critters, though, they seem to carry that art style over, thankfully, because otherwise this whole franchise would have been dead in the water, in my opinion. So, take it away.
I was mad there wasn't. There were a few missed opportunities for teeth jokes. There was like a doll of Sonic that should have had teeth. Like, but I don't know. The characters look good. They sit in the world okay to me. Like the lighting looks good on them, but I don't. I don't love the way they look. I'm fine with it. I really appreciated the end credits is showing our classic Sonic characters in video games. So it's like, hey, we're not abandoning, like, Sonic looks like this too. And it's like, good, okay.
Yeah, they did that with the credits last time too. I do. It's a nice touch.
Yeah, that's always cool.
How do you feel about the look of Tails and Knuckles? Yeah.
For me,
and Sonic.
I've been on record before saying that I wish they went with the original movie design.
That's right. You are what we describe as a Sonic truther. That is right.
Yes.
Release the toother cut, the teethy cut.
Yes. Original the teeth cut. Release it.
You're always tweeting that at WB's Twitter, and it doesn't make any sense, Jake.
Yeah.
Rescored the teeth cut.
We don't have the negatives.
Yeah, I don't know what you want from us.
Well, there's got to be a bootleg out there somewhere with the because all they did was rechange it. Like they shot the whole movie right with the original design, and then they just changed Sonic in every scene. So I just really want that original cut to exist, and I want to watch it. But
the nightmare cut.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe it still would have done well, and we'd still have Sonic 2, but Knuckles and Tails would be all fucked up looking too. So that's the world I want to live in personally.
You want the creepypasta version of the movie, which is fitting for this community.
I think it'd be a more interesting movie. Yeah.
Tails,
no, but
why do you have meth teeth?
I did kind of giggle to myself every
Mushrooms.
time Tails was on screen because of those memes where there's that dirty fox puppet that people used to put in next to the old Sonic design. Like, it's just so funny.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very
yeah.
funny.
yeah.
I mean-
but I mean, yeah, he looks like the game. They look like the game.
Yeah, it's
version,
about as
so-
good as you can do it. They're fine. Like,
Yeah.
do they look photorealistic? No, but you wouldn't want to do that anyway. It's like a Roger Rabbit. They're still kind of cartoony, and I buy it. Like, I'll suspend disbelief for it. That's the
I
bar
think
you had to
Knuckles
clear, and you
was-
cleared it.
Yeah, I think Knuckles is one of my favorite parts of this movie. And if you're watching our video, you can see I've changed my lighting to be on Knuckles, allegiance to Knuckles now.
It's red
And
now.
I thought he was
yeah.
great. Yeah.
Nice. Colin, does this work for you though? These looks?
The looks work for me like crazy. Once again, I'm like the one that I just want to veer away from our core three and always just focus on is Long Claw, where I'm just like,
Oh, yeah.
what is going on here? You're just like fascinating. This like soul owl of Gahul that just like inhabits this world.
A
But,
character that I never remember. I don't think I've ever seen in a video game before. But
no,
I'm not the biggest
I
Sonic
believe
fan.
is an original character.
Because
Oh.
I don't think even we've discussed Longclaw before. Like, I haven't experienced that character in the comics or the multiple TV shows that have existed to my knowledge. It feels like
No.
that's, and they do other things in
Not
this
my
like.
experience.
Like, I think the Master Emerald and the Chaos Emeralds are not made out of each other in the games, but in this, they're like, let's combine these two ideas. So there's original ideas, multiverses. Maybe we'll get Jaleel White Sonic to meet this Sonic one day if we get enough movies.
So hot right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Then we'll have rapping
I know
Knuckles meet
not.
Idris Elba Knuckles. It'll be a good time. Big the Cat on the way.
Show me the way, Knuckles.
So here, I want to
No.
preface. No. So in the first movie, we got Sonic. And then in this movie, not only did they put a gun in the Bible, but Jim Carrey directly references that and says, oh, you want to get that hedgehog? I can show you the way. So they acknowledge the meme.
Wow.
So Sonic might not have teeth, but the writers kind of do. And I respect that they're willing to walk the line. And when we get to post-credit, there's something very specific I want to talk about that they must execute on.
interesting.
But we'll wait.
Oh, yeah.
Hold that.
Let's stay on Knuckles real quick. So
Yeah.
I did read an article today that was 38 Easter eggs you didn't spot in Sonic 2, where I'm like, okay,
37 and
fucking blow
2/3.
my mind. Yeah, exactly. And it's like
Yeah.
the worst, facts ever. References, of course. Now, we all know that Sonic the Hedgehog's favorite food is chili dogs, but did you know that Knuckles is grapes? And they drop in a brilliant reference to his favorite food, grapes. I was like, oh,
loves
wow, I didn't
grapes?
know that. That's great.
I
He
didn't
does
know
say
that-
that one scene where they're like, do they have grape ice cream?
Oh, yeah, he does say that. So
Remember
Knuckles
that?
was always my favorite character as a kid.
Same.
Because his
Yeah.
last kid in the room syndrome, Sonic came out, and then Sonic 2 came out, and everybody else was picked. And then when Sonic 3 came out, I was like, oh, here's a character for me to identify with, I guess.
He can glide and climb walls.
Yes.
It's way easier to play Sonic and Knuckles as Knuckles than as Sonic.
Yes.
I've always
Oh,
liked
yeah.
Knuckles too, with the exception of one character, which we'll get to. He's my favorite.
Yes,
Sonic
absolutely. I cannot wait. We'll
Amy
just save that for the
Rose?
outro. No. Big the Cat. No burying the lead on that one. But I think he's cool. I like that he's basically like, TNG reference. He's like Worf.
Yes, he's a Klingon.
You know, yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
he
Mixed
doesn't.
with Drax from Guardians of the
I
Yeah.
said to Jacob when we left, he is just doing Batista from Guardians in this. But Idris, I think, kills it. The deadpan humor is great.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Knuckles was maybe the best part of this movie.
He's basically, I am not a merry man. He's like that vibe the whole time.
The
Like
whole
even
time.
we
Yeah.
used to do handshakes firmly, and he's just like way too firm, and they do that like 2 or 3 times, and like they call it back, rule of threes. It's like, yeah, Knuckles was really good. Adam, what do you think of his personality in this?
As a big Knuckles fan and mostly a Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 Knuckles fan, I was good. I enjoyed it. I wasn't blown away by Knuckles, but I was like, I'm glad you're here. It's still good. It maybe wasn't like what I had dreamed of.
He
but-
needed to dig in the ground and pop up an emerald, right? Like,
Yeah,
burrow
for
around it,
sure.
yeah.
He needed to be searching for the emeralds.
With radar, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. He was good. I will say everything is overshadowed by something else for me in this movie. So, like, a lot of my... Coming out of the theater, I was mostly recounting scenes of, our big star, Mr. Carrey. So some of the CG characters I was less focused on, I'll say.
Sure.
Gotcha. There are moments with Jim where like it seems like this is where the echidna's going to be, and they just put the camera on him, and then they just kind of walked away for an hour, and then came back like, all right, what did we get?
That's the biggest thing to me in the whole movie is that I never thought in my life I was going to watch one of my favorite characters in all time, Knuckles, running through a temple level with Jim Carrey. Like, what a strange, surreal experience.
I guess let's round out the villain
Jim
chat.
Carrey.
Yeah, if we want to talk
great
about
casting.
Robotnik. Yeah.
I think he's always been great casting. He was great in the first one too, and it does work that he just does his Jim Carrey shtick mixed with the Sonic. Like it's really good casting, and I think it just really works.
In that first one, Jacob and I talked about it a little bit before the movie started rolling. I was kind of saying the only scene he really gets to open up is that dance scene where he's doing the head stuff, doing pretend skiing.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, what they're really tapping into is sort of like a bully energy or a superiority, which kind of sucks. In this, it's like, we have Jim Carrey. I would even just love to see the script because I guarantee you half that stuff. When he's saying, like, Daddy's home, or,
and your little dog too. Was that a written line or is that improv?
I love how we, cleaned up the house.
To be totally written. I was just like, where is this all coming from?
We're just gonna let him riff for a bit, and his look is great in this one too. I mean, his look is perfect, right?
He's bald-headed now, mustache.
He said, my friend told me that he did an interview where he was like, I really wanted a fat suit to play Eggman, and they didn't want to let me do it.
Interesting.
Which, I would have loved to see him just with a little gut pooch.
Like the Grinch. He's already kind of had that little beer gut.
He's surviving off mushrooms. Like, he could have a weird body because of that.
Well, when we get to the end of this, I have a vehicle to allow him to do that. But I think now the rumor was he said, a week and a half ago or something, he might retire. But everyone that I know is like, hey, man, we need that. Finish the trilogy, dude. Like, at least come back for one more. Finish it.
Man. I'm saying,
a Paramountain.
End it here. Go out on top.
End it on 2.
Yeah, I don't know that he would need to also be the focus of the third one.
We'll have to see what he's doing. I think he would be involved, and we'll talk about that when we can, because there's another element. But that's for the villains. I think he does great. They're getting the Master Emerald. He gets powered up. He makes big egg robot. That's pretty sick. Like, it's more stuff from the games, and I think that's all great.
I was really thinking the egg robot was going to be the Sky Fortress from Sonic Adventure, because we got the airplane. We can do that whole route. But then when I realized what the robot was allowing was for Jim Carrey to have more physicality, I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, this is what I want. Not
even he's moving in slow motion the way robots tend to do, as if he's just moving slowly on purpose. Like, that's fun. Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, I'm not a huge Jim Carrey fan. And in fact, like, there have been periods where Jim Carrey really annoyed me, like, both as an actor and a human being.
Yes.
But all of that went out the window when I saw Sonic 1, and I was like, here's a guy giving his all to play Dr. Eggman. Like, I will forgive you for everything.
I respect that a lot.
Where Tom Cruise is a person who, like, I don't want to think about him as a human being, but, man, he does his job really well sometimes.
I see that Top Gun. I'm like, you're really flying that plane, aren't you?
You're actually flying that jet.
Mm-hmm.
But
he
watch
is.
the joy that Jim Carrey gave to Dr. Eggman, it was an incredible experience for me. I was very happy.
Yeah, I think both Idris and Jim Carrey brought more to the characters than they deserved, and it shows. Yeah, and I appreciate that.
It's appreciated, yeah.
Yeah, for real. They elevated this Sonic movie. Like, it feels like it might come from a place of love, hopefully, but like they didn't phone it in, and easily could have. So, any other thoughts on the villain side before we talk our new hero and then our blue blood?
I love the sidekick as well. I love Dr. Eggman's
the coffee man. Yeah, very unstoned.
You know what? And the Easter egg I pointed out to Jacob at the end too. The fact that it's called the Mean Bean. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean machine was the game that they had grown up. Tetris.
Like Dr. Mario, right? Yeah.
So fucking clever.
Yep. and he just loves his coffee and stone. And then he had a stone guy on the mushroom planet because his homie, like, they set that up in the previous movie and paid it off. See,
Yes.
They're trying to be screenwriters, and that's like, thank you so much.
They set it up, executed perfectly. I loved even just seeing the Tails post-cred scene like re-sewn into the movie.
On the
but
first
Mike,
movie,
you
yep.
just brought up something I did want to ask to my Sonic experts here, which I would say Adam and Mike, you guys might be out of our friends here. The space pirates. I know I texted you guys too, but the people that are summoned by Dr. Robotnik on the Mushroom World who come out before Knuckles, who have this, like, you know,
Well, I thought
Fifth
they were
Element
with
style.
Knuckles.
I would assume he was like the leader of this tribe of like bandits.
Well,
like
a lot of
were
questions too, because
Hmm.
like, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I want to know what your
just have
question
questions
is.
embarrass myself.
Sonic and Knuckles, like, do they come from the same planet? Because they all have similar, like, physiology, but are they from different planets?
But
Are they
then
all
Tails
from the same
says,
planet?
"I was watching you from my planet." He doesn't say our planet. So does that
Well-
mean Tails is from a third planet?
No, they're from the same planet. Tails is watching from the planet that they're from when Sonic was on Earth. He saw Sonic's adventures on
Right.
Earth.
And
then
Knuckles is from the
because,
same planet too?
well, as we learn, a tragic civil war
must
killed the parents of both Knuckles and Sonic, leaving them
Right.
orphans, you know, because it's a kid's movie. And that civil war had to have happened on the same planet, you know.
So there's a planet where there's, like, a tribe of
Mobius,
echidnas,
right?
a
Is that
tribe
the name of the
owls.
planet? In the
Tribe
comic
of-
book, it has a
I
name.
can't remember.
Mobius
I
or
mean,
something, but...
My experience with Knuckles and the Echidnas is that they had the temples and, you know, worshiped the Master Emerald, and they all burned in a fire, or something.
Yeah, but they were the
I
protectors
can't
of the...
remember. But when those creatures came out of the portal, Colin, I leaned over to my buddy and I said, "Oh, the Chozo are in this. The Chozo are from Metroid."
Sure, of
So
course.
I don't
That
know
would have
what
been
I
a
was
great
thinking, but I was
crossover.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
real
I
space
recognize this
pirate.
from Sonic. These are
Nintendo
the Chozo, right?
lover.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Traitor.
Traitor,
Oh, it's
yeah.
a chocobo. No.
Oh,
I can't.
no.
But
They had, like, what
here's-
looked like a bird thing, but I don't know.
And I think actual knuckle quills on the back. But we bring up something that is not addressed in this movie that I wonder if it is because it's a children's movie or if it's because of a plot thing. Now, in the first one, we know, just because you were talking, Mike,
Yes.
the Echidna tribe is introduced as the people who kill Sonic's original parent figure,
Yeah.
right?
The
And
owls.
as you know, viewing that,
And he had already
knowing
been
what the
adopted
future
once.
means. Yes, it's very sad. Sonic's a foster kid. There's a
where
lot
are the
going
other,
on.
Where are
There's
the
a
other
lot.
hedgehogs on this? Was there a hedgehog
So-
tribe on this planet?
There must
Allegedly.
be, but 30,000 questions spawning from that. You as viewers all go because you're like movie savvy. You go, wow, when there's a sequel and it will obviously have the character Knuckles in it, what great dramatic tension they're introducing. That at some point they will have to say to each other, you know, your tribe killed my guardian. And you go, oh. And in this movie, you see the point of view from Knuckles' side of it was tragic the day my tribe left to kill your guardian. And you're like, oh. And as
He
a movie
never
fan, you're
came
like,
back.
wow. I can't wait to hear what explanation they're going to give that there was this misunderstanding where they're both going to come out as good guys, because you can't just have Knuckles mourning the loss of his, like, bloodthirsty people who, like, killed the one parent figure that Sonic had. Now, it is never addressed or brought up
Wait a
again
second,
in this
Colin.
movie.
You don't think those owls were doing bombing runs on the Echidna
Now-
village? Like, you're
now,
gonna
they
go,
were
you're gonna call
very
the Echidnas
sophisticated
bloodthirsty?
builders, so I believe that they were, Adam. You could tell me that. They built temples on multiple planets, so
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
It's
again,
a proud
like,
warrior
you know,
culture,
the
Colin.
Klingon
They fight to
angle.
protect, you know.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
Klingon angle of, you know, the warrior culture, the honor, which is, you can see it in the, you know, Jim Carrey, the Robotnik partnership when he's like, oh, you're just like a bad guy. I'm not a bad guy. I'm just an honorable warrior, you know? So then you eventually switch the sides.
And the owls thought the jewel was too powerful and that no one should have it, but then that robbed them of their sense of duty, which is making them dishonored, and they want to reclaim honor. So there's some nuance, but then the idea is, yeah, both because of this war, Sonic and Knuckles had to grow up without parents. And maybe that was his Yondu crew. Maybe he was just going around space trying to fucking revenge shit.
I think that is what it is.
That's what it was. You know?
That's cool.
But they
So,
never get
who
brought up
knows?
again.
I want the
'Cause- and we do-
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if we're gonna Elden Ring lore this, Tails talks about people in his tribe made fun of him, which would indicate there must have been at some point a hedgehog tribe, etc., etc. But there's so much war on that planet. Everyone's getting wiped out constantly. It seems like genocide.
And that Tails has a genetic mutation because he's like, I'm not like the others. Basically,
They
They're
shunned
like,
me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
2 tails.
So nobody belongs, right? These 3 people who
yes.
don't belong, right? And that's kind of
That's the main theme, I think. Yeah.
So the emotional cord of it is great, and you can have a
It's a
bad
good kid's
influence as a father figure if you're Knuckles, but it's like, hey, just because your parent figure is a bad guy doesn't mean you got to be bad or something like that.
It's like Peacemaker, right?
Wow.
Right.
You know, DC wishes, besides James Gunn, that it could make a movie as competent as this.
Seriously. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we mentioned Tails then. We got Tails Miles Prower. We got a butt helicopter, just like the game, everybody's little brother's favorite character.
That's right. Now, Colleen Shaughnessy, a lot was made out of this casting because since 2014, in the video games and in all animated adaptations, Colleen Shaughnessy has been the voice of Tails. So this is consistent casting.
Well, that's interesting. They do that with Tails, but then for Knuckles, they
And
get
Sonic.
Idris Elba, and then Sonic, it's not the same actor. So I wonder why they just brought her, but not the other 2 they recast as
So
celebrity
nuanced.
voice actor.
Only one person could do it.
There's a perfect
I mean,
Tails.
who else would you want, really? I guess you would get someone like a
Margot Robbie.
Michael Cera, or go with the female. And
I
yeah.
don't even want to think about Michael Cera after some of the trailers that I had to sit through to see this movie. But I guess it's again, listening to the fans. We talked about bullying and how we got Sonic fixed. You know, there's 2 sides. One is where the Snyder Cup happens and it's just okay-ish. But then there's like, wow, you saved the movie, and now we're literally giving you everything you want.
Yes.
It said Sega as a whole. I mean, I don't know. I guess Sega's a decent
changed
video game
time.
publisher, but they got to be making more money off of this than they have off of stuff in a long time. And the new Sonic game could be a banger finally. The new open world Sonic game, I imagine they're going to invest some real money into it. I think it could be good. So thanks for pulling them teeth.
Well, that's what I feel about this movie. It's not to be a whole final thought, but it's like, it's kind of the best thing that's happened to the franchise in a long time. Like, even some of the other games have been kind of contentious. Like, there's diehard people who will defend them, but it's easy to see that there are like flaws with some of the mechanics or the design of those games. And it's been hard to be like kind of an out Sonic fan. But now you have the best video game movie and sequel, like, at least opening weekend ever. Like, so yeah, it's really good for the community. Yeah.
Sonic Mania was a few years ago, right? That was a
Sonic
pretty
Mania
good.
was good. Sonic
But that was
Generations
essentially a
was
fan
good.
game because they weren't making good games.
To Mike's point,
That's
it
true.
was this reassemblage of the past where people were like, why don't you look to this? And Sega's answer was like, we don't know who or what we are anymore. Like, don't you understand the existential crisis we're going
will
through as
say-
a company?
I'm not the biggest, Sonic fan in the world, but I've really never liked 3D Sonic games at all. I only really like the 2D side-scrolling classic Sonic.
And this one is very much like the 3D because they've got the snowboarding, a lot of the running and chases stuff. It lives more in that world of the quote-unquote newer Sonic games.
I guess there's been a couple good 3D Sonic games, but for me, the 2D is the way to go.
We call that the Great Schism. The fan base never survived it. The jump to 3D.
Sure.
Half of us were left behind.
Like Dylan going electric, right?
right.
Color movies, not in my world.
Yeah. What are your general thoughts on the 3D Sonics? You said you like adventure, Adam, and I've never really played them. I don't have a lot of experience. I'm a 2D fan.
I mean, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 are my favorite Sonic games. Would they be if I were to play them for the first time now? I don't think so. There's definitely nostalgia there. Like, it was an open hub world and these levels. Like, it really felt like I had a big game that I could explore as a kid. There are tons of mini games. There's snowboarding. There's, like, pinball.
Oh, yeah.
But those games the ports are bad. The ports are really bad, and people don't know that, so they think that the ports being bad.
That's how it was on original hardware?
Yeah, but it's also really cheesy. It's like It's definitely a lot of those cutscenes are hilarious, but I thought they were super cool as a kid. Sonic Adventure 2, I was so excited for. I bought shoes that looked like Sonic's shoes.
Oh my
before I
God.
played it.
Oh man.
Oh, I wish I had those, dude. That's amazing.
Well, that came back around for the 2020 movie. They had those limited Sonic shoes that were selling for a pretty
I might have
penny.
to track those. I'm sure.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite parts of the first one when the child gives him those shoes because he's got those holy
me?
The
shoes.
child gives him the shoes. They did show his
Yeah.
feet. Oh my God.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, they did.
Wow. I do like the references to like City Escape being the snowboarding thing. Like as soon as he grabs that piece of metal, I'm like, oh man, it's City Escape time. Let's go. Running around at the speed of sound.
You actually snowboarded regular snowboarding in Sonic Adventure 1. There are a lot of Sonic Adventure 1 references, especially in the first one. But
Yeah, because that was San Francisco too. Yeah.
Yeah, you got the running straight down the building.
Well, and a certain character
Yeah.
introduced in the post-cred scene, which I'm sure
we're
we'll
making
talk
you
about.
wait
Yeah, we'll
for.
get
Yeah.
there.
It is weird to me. If
go
I can
ahead.
mention the snowboarding, like the speed that Sonic. What's Sonic's top speed? Because it seems variable. Because
How
sometimes
dare you ask that?
Sometimes
Infinite.
they do the Quicksilver thing, right? Where it's like
Yes.
time is basically standing still while he's doing stuff. But then why does he need to snowboard down a hill when he could just run faster than he's snowboarding?
Have you ever
He just
tried to
doesn't feel
run
like
down
it.
a hill in snow?
But he can
Yeah.
run on water.
I think
He really
right?
had to
I would
focus on
sooner-
that.
I would sooner run.
Maybe
on
I'm
water
That was
than
Zack
put
Schneider's
my
Jesus
feet where
allegory.
I can't see them, you know. I
Yeah,
think
it just
that
seems
makes
sometimes
sense.
he can move super fast. Sometimes he's just like pretty fast. I don't know. Maybe I'm
Well,
just
here-
thinking about it too much.
Did he
but-
eat
Here's
a
how I-
chili dog right before he went super fast?
No, no,
There
no.
we go.
But here's how I look at it. When we see him slowing down time, there's one scene like he slows down time to dodge the rockets and stuff. That's just how he percves
Right.
time. And
Right,
most of the
they do
movie,
in the
we're looking
first
at a
movie, too.
third-person perspective. So he's
That
like
seems
that
really
always.
fun, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that's how he experiences the world. But most of the movie is shot from outside of that, and that's why we, But I
Right,
think
but
he could
other
always-
times he could,
Screenjacking.
when it would,
'Cause
be
he's
good for him
lazy,
to go that
Jacob.
fast, he can't go that fast.
he
It's
doesn't
almost
need
like
to
super
try.
fast characters are inherently not interesting.
Oh
yeah,
man,
that's a problem, the Flash has had for a long time too. But
Mhm.
it is inconsistent though. To cede your point, yeah, it seems
again, it's a
inconsistent.
kids movie, so
but
I'm
it's a
thinking
kids
about
movie.
it too much, obviously. But
Just turn your
Yes.
brain off, bro.
Your
So
brain off, bro.
3D references are happening, but there's also a number of 2D references. Probably the biggest one in this being Sonic 2 is we get finally Super Sonic, who debuted in the second game,
Oh,
right? I mean,
yeah.
Super Sonic.
Yeah.
Adam, were you aware? Is he in the 3D games? Did you know about Super Sonic, and were you anticipating or expecting to see him in this movie?
It's a sure thing that I was going to see it. I thought that I was going to see something else we'll talk about later, more certainly. But I've only been Super Sonic once, and that was in Sonic Rush on the DS. That was the only time I went through the trouble of being Super Sonic. But I've been aware of Super Sonic for a long time, and
Yeah.
man, it's a good thing to have in a game.
It's literally a Dragon Ball Z rip off.
Absolutely.
Like the creators, it's confirmed. He's literally just Super Sonic. Yep, and he turns gold, but I think it was like 100 coins or whatever would do it in Sonic 2, and then in Sonic 3, you had to collect the Chaos Emeralds, which are in mini games. So they kind of reference that.
and quick question about the Chaos Emeralds. In the games, they're different colors like that because the big emerald is green, right? But then when you see the Chaos Emeralds, they're all different colors. But why aren't they all green if they're emeralds?
Correct.
Aren't
Well,
emeralds
the
all
blue
green?
one's space, the purple one's power.
But
you-
they
you
should
know
be
there's
how-
time.
gems then.
That's the thing,
Not
Jacob.
to
Yes, you're
nitpick.
correct. Wow.
I'm
Maybe I'm
nitpicking too
thinking
much, I'm
about it too
sorry.
much. No, you're fine. Yeah, it's a misnomer to call them emeralds for sure. But yeah,
But
they're
it's
all
much
different
cooler,
colors.
right?
Yeah.
Chaos Emerald.
But when I think emeralds, I just think they should be green.
Big
I
They
wonder-
should maybe be emerald. If they were all emerald cut instead of a round
Yes,
diamond
there you go.
cut, it might make more sense.
Dang, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
They should be called diamonds.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't sound
yeah.
as good. They should be technically, and yeah, the Mastered Emerald and then the Chaos Emeralds are separate colors. But yeah, I guess you're right. This movie sucks. 0 out of 10.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Here's what I know about Super
Uncut
Sonic.
Gems,
as
much more
somebody
accurate.
Uncut Sonics. As somebody who played him on Smash Bros, obviously that was his finale, right?
His ultimate
super
smash.
attack was. Thank you. He would
Mm-hmm.
transform into that or whatever. And I gotta say, I got a little misty-eyed when he was all hurt on the ground, like crawling to
Come
get
on,
the thing.
Spider-Man.
It looked like he was gonna stomp for a minute. I was like, oh, this sucks. I hate this.
He couldn't
Well,
even
what's
move
so great
fast.
about these movies? One thing I really like about him is the characterization of Sonic. I just think is really good. They make him just very likable. He's just like a likable little scamp.
He's
Getting
fun.
into shenanigans, and even when he does like pranks or whatever, you can't hate him because he's just too lovable, right?
There are 2 dance montages in this movie. When he is alone,
Yeah.
he decides to do what he wants to do. The floss is done again, of course,
He loves flossing.
previously by
Yes.
Dr. Robotnik. But and then later, him and Tails are in a literal dance-off, and it's just
We gotta
You know-
talk about this scene.
Siberia?
It was
what
such
can
a
you say?
Weird scene. I came back from the bathroom into this scene.
Mhm.
It was just funny to me that like we've kind of passed the point where it's acceptable to have like here are the people that we're going to other. Like here is the external group
The
of people.
Russians.
Here are the foreign people we're going to other.
Yeah.
So, but we still like the movie still needs to be like here. Okay, it's okay because they're white people, but still we imagine people in Siberia give you a literal bowl of water with a giant cow tongue in it.
Yeah.
As, like,
Mhm.
you know, like we have to establish
This is the
crazy
stew?
group
Oh
of
my
people.
God.
And,
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't bother me that much. I just thought it was interesting of like, okay, we still have to put this trope into this movie.
Always.
You know, we've
But then
gotta
the
have
twist is you think that they're
Great.
gonna beat them up or something, but then really it's just a dance contest, and they just love
It's
dancing.
okay, kids.
And I like how the one guy had a tattoo of himself on his chest.
That
That
was
was
great.
That was
T-posing.
great.
That was very
There were
funny.
some good bits, and
Yeah.
that was one of them.
Yeah, he comes out in his tracksuit
Takes his shirt off and it's
Yeah.
into the
doing
perfect
it on
T
his
pose. Yeah, that
And
was
then
I was
Sonic and
was not
Tails-
ready for that. Yeah.
try
No.
to do a dance, but they can't sync up at first. But then they put on a different song, and then all of a sudden
Then,
they have a
no,
choreographed
excuse
dance.
me. Then Sonic realizes he can plug his iPod in.
That's right. Even though they're in Siberia where
Yeah.
they eat just tongues
Oh,
and
no,
bowls
no,
of
no,
water,
no.
they still got
Yeah.
the ox porridge.
They got the ox ready to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Hand me
course.
the ox. Yeah.
It's not, what do you think? It's a total third world country, man? That's come on. How short sighted can you be?
It's
They,
so
they just
good.
love to dance. Yeah.
They got oxes and cow tongues out the wazoo in Siberia.
The knitting bit was also good.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, that kept cutting
Again,
back to
our
that.
audience went crazy for that.
Yeah.
This whole thing, like, it literally doesn't advance the plot in any way. It's like, oh, the map is getting thrown around. Like, you didn't need to be there, but it's like, kids liked it.
Yeah.
And then I think of Space Jam and that rap battle, and I'm like, this scene's fine.
Yeah.
This is a fine scene.
Mike, that is such a perfect point to make. That's probably what I would call
Yeah.
the closest to kid content that I've watched in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you recall, we brought up in the first Sonic that the product placement was miserable. Talking about Olive Garden, using
Oh,
Zillow
yeah.
to book apartments. You know, oh, let's do this.
Only
let's do
like
that.
2 Olive
All
Garden
that
references
bullshit.
this time.
In this one, they're making fun of themselves with the Olive Garden shit and
Mm-hmm.
Space Jam. I mean, you get out of that movie and you just feel like your mind went to fucking space. This, I would be perfectly fine if my kid was like, "Can we watch Sonic again, Dad?" I'd be like, "Throw it on."
Yeah, but if they wanted Space Jam, you
No.
might have to find
You're
an owl to
getting
go live
dropped
with.
off at a fucking asylum with a fucking long claw taking care of you, baby.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
for me, I mean, if I could critique it a little bit,
Yeah.
this is maybe getting into final thoughts, but I did think it's longer than the first one. I thought it's a little too long. The 2 things that I would cut down, not cut out completely, but I would definitely cut them down, are
Don't
the
touch that
wedding
wedding.
subplot
Don't touch
and
that
the dance-off
wedding.
scene. Those are the 2 things. While I
Oh,
enjoyed them,
you're
I
so
The dance off
really
could have
wrong.
been
cut them down
shorter,
time.
but it's fine to be in there. I hear
Yeah,
you.
but again, it's a kids movie, so you can kind of forgive it. I just think it would make a tighter movie if they cut those 2 things down. But again, if kids are into it, then let them
Hey,
let
that's
them be
extra
into
time they're watching their iPad, not bothering you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of this.
I mean, we've all kind of mentioned that this is a good kids movie, and that was the thing I was not expecting was to walk out of that movie and be like, I don't watch a lot of children's movies. I've watched Encanto recently, watched Coco not too long ago.
Pixar.
So yeah, I watch a lot of like the big like staple children's movies I'll wind up seeing.
Right.
And thinking about this, I was like, you know what? I would, if I had children, which I never will, I would be just as happy for them to watch this as almost any children's movie I can think of. Like, I don't think it's gonna rot their brain in any direction. It's fun. It has a good message, and I feel like there's enough, or at least in my theater, the experience was everything else was for the kids, and Jim Carrey was for the three of us in the back.
And some of those wedding comments where that woman's talking about wanting to kill that husband, the woman next to me was like, she just kept talking to the screen, going like, "Honey, this is great. Like, baby girl, like, get it." I was like, "This is great." Randall. But Adam, to the comedy and to the quality of will this rot the kids' brains? The worst thing that this movie is going to cause is your kids are going to be like, "What does that joke about Vin Diesel and The Rock being in a feud mean?" And you'll just be like, "Oh, that's just like a reference, you know? Like it's harmless."
But if you think about it, when we were kids growing up, we would watch comedies that would have jokes aimed for adults that would just kind of slip past us. And if you didn't get a reference, you'd be like, "Well, I don't understand what that means," but it's funny when he like falls on a banana peel or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. They were dancing. I was laughing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad, that farting dummy joke was so great. I'd be like, it was. like I'm old and I agree with you.
I mean, they put a gun in a Bible. I'm like, that's for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good message, right? I would be happy for children to watch this over a lot of the movies that I saw trailers for. Like the Minions movie, what?
Oh
That's a brain rotter, right? But it's fine. It's harmless, more or less. And, Knuckles joins the crew at the end. He's part of the family too. We're going to get ice cream. And I love when he's like,
product placement truck.
Yeah, our product placement truck. But when Knuckles is like, your fastball will be dishonored, as will you. I'm dishonoring everything. In Elden Ring, everything's getting dishonored from now on, dude. Like, I love it.
Let's keep it light, boys. Come on, nope, it's just a game.
Nope. We don't have a ball anymore, so yeah, it's cute. It has issues, and we're nitpicking. That's kind of our job, and it's fun to do that.
If we're just laying those out, I'll say, turning Tails, I love Tails. Turning Tails into the exposition machine of the movie, didn't really love that. I would have loved if there were just a little more characterization outside of like, butt copter. Only the great Sonic the Hedgehog could come up with a line like butt copter. You're like,
right.
Tails, are you okay?
I thought you were clever.
This is like your first time outside.
He definitely
never had a friend.
Never had a friend. Least to do of the three cartoon characters, 100%. I would say. And his character is kind of like, oh, you're the little brother to Sonic that Sonic's always been missing, and they really play up that relationship.
That's what your whole bit is that you suck. So try to really do something with that. It's like, oh, okay.
But worship Sonic, yeah. For me, I think the standout of this movie was the third act finale, basically like the last 20, 30 minutes or so of the movie. I thought the effects looked really good, like when Jim Carrey, gets possessed by the Chaos Emerald and he gets that green kind of suit, that green and black.
He apparently also in an interview talked about he wanted the vocoder in his voice. He was like,
so cool.
It was in the same thing where he was like, I wanted to be in a fat suit, and also I wanted my voice to be a vocoder. So
man,
he didn't get one, but he got.
And he's doing that thing where he's playing piano in the air, and then they add the
adjusting it.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
that's super cool. And then the whole final action scene I thought was really awesome. And then
they got an Avengers
Supersonic
360 moment with all of them. They do a team up where Knuckles throws them and then Tails grabs them.
Knuckles has a laser that's this big that he's just killing things with. Mike, it's great.
Yeah.
Mustache slap.
Yes.
Wild.
And I have to believe when Jim Carrey did the snot rocket, that was effects were done, and they're like, "Get the effects team in here. We gotta." You're animating
guys,
that.
Jim just said snot rocket. You have to do something with it.
You have to do it. Yep. Oh man. Well, maybe now is a good time to do a transition. We can talk kind of the post creds and maybe speculate where things will be going, and then get to final thoughts, something like that. How's that sound, guys?
Yeah.
Let's move on to it right after this. Normies Like Us.
We're back. We're talking Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And I'll shout that out. One of those rare films where it's just 2. It's not like Sonic the Hedgehog, The Master Emerald, or something like that.
Yeah.
A fun movie for kids. It's the sequel to that one you saw before. Just come take your kids again. We're talking about the future.
Number one movie in that country.
Speculate some things. We're talking about the fucking number one
Not
video
Morbius?
game movie ever made. Fuck you, Morbius. Fuck you, Harry Potter, knocking on the door. You think you're going to take
Jared
the
Leto.
crown from Sonic? Get
Never.
out of here.
Wow.
But we're talking about the future of the franchise. Let's talk about the post-cred scene first,
Big
which sets a lot of that
post-creds.
up. Now, Jacob and I are watching this next to each other as it's kind of rolling. You know how movies are. Once it's done, you can kind of start talking out loud. So we're kind of getting our thoughts of like, whoa, wow, oh my God. I had said to him, now, there's going to be 3 of these fuzzy characters, but I bet, by the end of this thing, we'll get a hint or a tease. We'll see Cream and Cheese. We'll see Amy Rose. We'll see Rouge. We'll see
No.
the
Oh man,
group
that would
for
be the
next
day.
movie.
They wouldn't do that.
So it's going through and nothing's coming up. Hits the post-cred scene, which we'll talk about in just a sec.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're both kind of like, whoa. And if you recall in the first one, the post-cred scene to start was Robotnik, some time, and then Tails. So
Yep.
we're still there, buzzing off of what happens. We're like,
We
here
sat
comes
through
the
whole
next one, baby.
credits to see the
A
second.
bunch of
scene.
people. Some people are getting up. You hear some snickering that people are leaving. Everybody else is kind of like leaning forward in their seats. When that Paramount logo comes up again and the movie's just done, I gotta
Damn it,
say, I was
PP.
fucking bummed out, dude.
Oh, you thought there was going to be
Let
a
us down.
second post
Because there
credits?
was
I
2
thought
in the
there was
first
gonna be
movie.
some-
We have the
else,
mid
yeah.
credit and then
There's
In
the Jim
first movie, you had
Carrey one
both.
on the Mushroom Planet, and then the Tails. So I thought
Was
there would
the
be
final
another Jim
stinger.
Carrey
Yes.
scene, so we could see what he's doing.
Well, if
So
he may
he's
retire or
dead.
not, maybe they shot it and they cut it.
And my big fear is that or something else that we're going to talk in a minute superseded it. But what
Yep.
we instead get is the post-cred scene, which is a hint at a future Sonic villain, we'll say.
It's a big reveal. I mean, let's just spill the beans, right? The lady comes up to the general. It's like, oh yeah, Robotnik fell or whatever. But we were looking into the files. We looked at the files and we found something. And it's Shadow the Hedgehog in a secret
Project
government
Shadow.
bunker. Project
There's
Shadow.
one throwaway line, which is because Robotnik has been away from his technology on the Mushroom Planet. When he
Yeah, he's been
comes
gone.
to our Earth, he signals to Dr. Stone, his assistant. The satellite kicks off. He gets all his tech. He's reinvigorated. Like we said, he's back to life. So there's this throwaway line of, we're going to cut your funding, is basically what like this government director says to him, setting up that they are going to in fact audit him. And this woman says, while doing that, we discovered Project Shadow. What on earth is going on here? I don't know anything about this.
You don't know who Shadow is? Adam, please.
I know the
And then
memes
Jacob, I know you
of
love it.
The video game with him with a gun and people being like, this is fucking like
The
bullshit.
bad boy of
That's
the
everyone
Sonic
he's
universe.
in.
Yes.
Look, you know me. My favorite Star Wars character is Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
Of course, the bad
the
boy
Kylo Ren of the
of
Sonic,
Sonic.
universe.
Yes, Shadow the Hedgehog. He has a gun. Of course, he's gonna be my favorite Sonic character. Of course, he's listening to Linkin Park. I assume we love it. We love it.
So this is, Adam. He's originates in the 3D world that you're familiar with, right? Please elaborate on
he's
this guy.
introduced, as far as my knowledge goes, he first appears in Sonic Adventure 2. And so Sonic Adventure, I feel like in the 3D Sonic games are responsible for I don't know, big chunks of culture. Like I feel like furry culture is like big, like in part
We've been
got a
dancing
huge
around
boost
it.
because of Sonic 1 and 2 Adventure, right? Like
Yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
a furry myself, have no, whatever, do what you want. I'm happy.
Yeah, do what
for
you
it.
want.
And
Eat
I
me a
think,
chili dog.
Just make sure everybody's consenting.
Amy.
I don't care.
yeah, I'm all for it. Fucking
Yeah.
let your freak flag fly,
Hell
man.
yeah, baby.
Yeah.
But, so like I appreciate that about Sonic. Like that's one of the things that like I don't love the later 3D games, but there is a hardcore fan base that like these are incredible games no matter what, which is kind of beautiful to me because I'm like these things seem like total trash to me, and you love them, so good for you.
It's
But
your identity.
Sonic Shadow the Hedgehog also brought in this kind of like overdone emo edge that I feel like like also
best.
had a ton of people latch on to. I never played a game where he was wielding a gun, but he was the bad boy Sonic character. And I thought coming into this movie, I said, we're going to get Shadow, I think. We're going to get a little peek of Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh man.
I think he's the most recognizable, other than the characters they've shown already. Like, Who else would it be? Like Big Cat? Like,
Well, there's one other one that I could throw at you, but Colin, I want to hear you
When
go.
I was a kid, it was Metal Sonic. Is that what you were going to say, Mike?
I was thinking maybe Metal
just
Sonic.
assumed, that just with the obsession Robotnik has with him, we would get some sort of, you don't even know what I've been working on.
Can I pitch a Sonic 3 for you that I've been thinking about? And quickly, another note on Shadow. Not only does he have guns sometimes, but he introduced soaps to the Sonic.
Yeah.
So he has
Sonic
those grind
Adventure
shoes,
2.
those shoes with grind plates.
oh, hell yeah.
So we're going to need that in the third movie.
Hell
Sorry,
yeah.
Adam.
Sonic
Hell
also
yeah.
has grind plates in that game from the beginning, but you can play as Shadow or Sonic, and the good guy team or the bad guy team, and you get to grind all over the
You
place
know what
and do cool
team
stuff.
I
So
would
if we've
be
gotten snowboarding, they got to have soaps, and they're going to come back. They're going to reissue them.
Hell
That's the
yeah.
only way to do it. So
Oh, wow, that a cross marketing
tie-in,
campaign with
yeah.
soaps. Ooh.
it was sponsored. The game was sponsored by soaps. Like it was. They had
Yeah,
soaps
there
billboards.
was billboards on the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
So
don't make those anymore?
no, but they will
No.
when Sonic 3 comes out. So the
I
point
have
is,
a friend who actually emailed them when they were collapsing and was like, "Do you have any extra grind
Send me
plates
the
you can send
bears.
me?" And they just sent him like boxes of
Damn.
soap stuff.
that's awesome. Yeah, the Healy's soaps crossover is what we Gotham needs.
Yeah.
But so my number one caveat: soaps I could live without, but like they were bold enough to acknowledge Uganda Knuckles existing as a meme. They put a gun in a Bible. You better give Shadow a gun, or we riot. Number two, the way I see it is, we don't know. Hopefully, Jim Carrey comes back. He fell out of a giant robot, so maybe he just has to live in a wearable iron lung that happens to be large, and then that way
An egg shit.
it's not a fat suit, but it's how he can stay alive, and then he makes Metal Sonic. So we have Metal Sonic, Shadow's the rogue element, and then Sonic and his team. We have three kind of factions.
Sure. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the way you do it.
But big questions, I would say, that we have up in the air. Where does Sonic's power come from? It's again hinted at in this with Longclaw saying,
Ezra
you
Miller,
were
he's
given
just
these
another
gifts.
Flash.
It kind
He's gonna
of seems
show
like
up in
he
the
was
Flash
my
movie.
life.
Yeah.
Knuckles seems to also be drawing on some sort of force in the world, which has some opposition. Are they drawing on the Chaos Emeralds? Are they
Speed
all
Force.
tied together? Is this something? Blah blah blah.
I don't know that much
why
lore.
did he leave the universe? There are.
Microscopic organisms that live in your bloodstream.
yes.
If it's midi chlorins, I'll get so bad. There is.
Did he jump over a shark in the ocean? I can't remember.
Great question. There's a lot of stuff that so let's just say it's not just going to be a trilogy. Again, I feel silly being like the Sonic trilogy, but there seems like there is so much more content to get out before this movie and questions they need to answer just for this kid that I am glad, in fact, that there is the Knuckles spin-off PP original series that is coming.
Yes, Idris Elba.
Adam, did you not know?
You heard it
I
here
did not know
first.
about the side
It has
until
been
Colin
announced.
told me.
There's no episode order. Again, we don't know timeline-wise if this is him meeting the space pirates in the
career
beginning and
move.
like.
It's probably only a
the
couple
Knuckles
days work
original
for
series, mate.
Idris,
Man,
Yeah, it's
That's true.
we're going off.
the
with
series
his kids.
just ends with him at that portal. Yeah.
But will it be passed? My point is, there are 12 billion furry characters that could be introduced that I fear there just wouldn't be enough time in the next movie, but could potentially be ensemble characters for
universe.
a show. But then I worry about the costs really sinking the quality down on it. So let's walk very carefully with our Sonic franchise is kind of my final thoughts or future warning that
I would
I
say
have,
walk
like,
before you
really
run, but Sonic doesn't roll like that.
Yes.
I have one pitch that I could add to Mike's pitch as well. So
Mhm.
in the next one, Robotnik makes Sonic or Robot Sonic, right? Metal Sonic, whatever. Also have him doing the thing where he turns the fuzzy animals into robots.
Yes,
You can
I
put
love
that would be
I
like
missed
the
that as a kid.
big
We need
thing in
that.
the third movie where that's his new evil plan is turning the animals into robots, and then you get that element of it.
Who's the
'Cause
robot?
they cut his funding. He doesn't have materials, so he has to resort to animal fucking experiments.
Well, and it could be an interesting, Sonic has to save his people finally or something. Who's the sort of southern rogue from the X-Men, like rabbit half android from that Sonic universe?
There is. That's from the cartoon. It's one of the cartoons.
I remember I had a huge crush on her as a kid.
There's a robot android rabbit. Yeah.
I kind of need
Sonic
to see
does it.
these
Sonic does it. It
I-
brings
I-
people into the fold.
There's an audience for it, Adam. We need to satisfy this audience. And put
All I
more
want
of
is
these
Big the
furry
cat sitting in that boat with Tom fishing. That's
Yes.
what I want. And
I
it's like
want
really
Rouge
uneven.
Bat.
Yeah, exactly. So who knows what they could do, but at least things are looking good for Sonic right now. I mean, again, they already signed off on the spin-off series.
Should
Sonic
we
Spinball.
cast Shadow, Mike? Who's your voice actor for Shadow? Jason
Man.
Statham, or it's like what do we want here? Is it the opposite
a
of
bad
Ben
boy.
Schwartz?
It's
Adam Driver would be
perfect.
in
Adam Driver
Spain.
would be really good. I was trying to think
here's
of the
the thing.
edgiest person, and you found
You
it.
make a dummy movie. It's almost like the plot of Argo, where it's like you hire him to do voice work for something that he thinks is very serious, and then once it's done, you're like, you've actually been recording lines for Shadow the Hedgehog. I want you to know that.
Man, that's great.
It would be the only way.
Humans' weakness
Yeah,
is
it had-
despicable. They will be destroyed.
Now it says here I'm fighting someone named Sonic. What's the plot of this? And you'd be like, no,
It's like a code name for secret agent. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That could work. Or
I think that wins
Robert
Adam Driver.
Robert Pattinson,
Pattinson.
someone like that.
Yeah.
Gotta be a bad boy, I guess.
Who's in the Paramount
Scarlett
tree?
Johansson as Rouge the Bat. I'd like to just see some of these people come in. I'd like to see fucking. God, I don't know. As Amy, I guess it's
What's
gotta be
the
like.
what's the
Natalie
bad team
Morales.
called? With like the lizard and
Chaotix?
stuff.
Oh no, that's Chaotix. But
Chaotix.
Bad, right?
Well, they're chaos. Yeah, chaotic neutral.
It's like
yeah,
the gator, right, and the bee.
You have an alligator and a beetle. Yeah, bee. Yeah. There's a lot of. If there's an animal for it, there's a Sonic version of it in one of the.
Yeah.
There's so
There's
many
a whole
universes
world of
too.
Sonic.
If you've never searched your name and the Hedgehog, there is fan art of your name and the Hedgehog. Probably
Jacob
right?
the Hedgehog.
Mhm.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
don't do it
just
at work. Either way,
I
I
would
think.
just want to look like Shadow.
Well, you already do. Congratulations. You're already pretty cool and edgy.
Thank you.
There's just a photo I remember that it's like Shadow with the gun, and then it just like has a speech bubble next to him, and it just says "damn."
Damn.
Damn.
'Cause, like, I'm so edgy,
Just
right?
watch
I
the
love the
supercut.
memes,
Watch the
yeah.
supercut of him saying "damn" and Shadow the Hedgehog. The game.
Yeah,
It's very
so
good.
we need those references, but I guess time will tell with Sonic. But do we want to maybe talk some final thoughts on the chili dog hog himself? I guess I could jump in first, and then throw it to Adam. I guess the biggest failing in these movies isn't the writing. It's not any of that. It really is the soundtrack. There's such a wealth of music from the games. I'm not sure if it's a rights issue, but the fact that we didn't hear any of the music except for Tom's ringtone, that's the biggest failing of these. Because some of those tunes, if you just had the orchestrated version, would be incredible during that boss fight. You know?
The first one with the beautiful rings instead of the stars that go around Paramount to open these films, which I totally love, starts with the orchestrated violin cover of Green Hill Zone in the first one, Mike. And the fact that, like you're saying, to step back and go like, let's just include it as a gag. When you have a library of maybe some of the best video game music that's ever been recorded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if Mario didn't exist, some of those Sonic themes would be the most recognizable video game sounds of all time, guaranteed. So it's like, no, we'll just get Junkie XL, the dude from Mad Max. Like, there's so much character. It has to be a rights thing, but that's the only thing.
Good point.
Yeah, so fix that in the third one, but they're doing okay so far. Other than that, though, I mean, I think these movies are a force for good. Like, they're just feel-good movies. It's a good family movie. They're, like, set up and pay off. Like, they're more competent than a lot of movies that I watch from even, like, a script standpoint. It's not perfect, but it's like they're trying. They hear the fans. And to contrast it with something like Halo or Uncharted, this is a better Uncharted movie than Uncharted is. They got a map. They find a temple. Like,
Uncharted
come on.
is out?
Yeah, it's probably gone now. But then you got Halo that seems so tone deaf to what the audience wants. So it's like, this is where you listen, you give them what they want. It's not hard, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, like that's the weird thing is that like it's really not that hard. And I
Everyone
just
gets
don't
it
know
so
why
wrong.
people keep making mistakes with these video game adaptations, but it's not that difficult.
No.
Just
Maybe that's my final
Be
thought,
1-to-1.
Jacob.
It doesn't have to be 1-to-1 either.
yeah.
No,
have
but
to be.
yeah, the final thought for me, because off of Jacob's point, is it's not that hard, and it's not that Sonic is doing it perfect. It's that they're just trying somewhat, and no one else is.
Yeah.
Like they're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that.
Please try. Like that's all we want. Because look at what you get out of it. We're loving it. You know, kids are loving it. #1 video game movie ever because you fucking tried. So just try. Try to engage with the source material. Fuck your Halo show PP plus. You know what I'm talking about. Sonic is great though. So thanks
Well,
for
it
that.
must, it might come down to, what they think, general audiences want. Like with the Uncharted, they're like, well,
gotta stop
who's
with
big right
that.
now? We got Tom Holland, Spider-Man. We got Mark Wahlberg. People love him, I guess. I don't know.
It's a strange thing that he's
They
still
must.
a working actor. I don't understand.
Yeah.
That is the boardroom though, pretty much.
Right. It's like, that's what people want to see, I guess. Like, why not just do a more true adaptation? Like, get, like everyone's been saying Nathan Fillion for like 20 years would be the perfect Nathan Drake, but they don't pick him. I don't know. I guess he's not as marketable. It just comes down to, like, if you're going to adapt a game, why try to change a million things about it and then be surprised when it doesn't work?
Mm-hmm.
And again, with the Halo thing, like, they say, we didn't really look at the games and like we wanted to make our separate canon. It's like, why? Like, that's not what people want to see. They want to see the Halo story, I guess. So
It'd be like if you made a new Star Wars movie and the only thing about it was that there were stormtroopers that looked like stormtroopers.
yeah,
It was just the plot of Platoon with stormtrooper helmets.
Yeah.
right.
To reiterate this from the guy who made Resident Evil, which is the first one I love, but I'm such a huge Monster Hunter fan, and the fact that they were like, oh, that game that's set in a different dimension where people hunt monsters. Okay, what if Mila Jovovich was a U.S. Army agent who went through a portal, and you're like, okay, where are we starting with this? Like,
Right.
let's just wipe
Well,
all
even
that
with
away.
the Resident
Mhm.
Evil series, it's like they didn't try to take the
No.
plot of one of the Resident Evil games. They just made their own movies with Mila Jovovich. It's like, why
Yeah.
not try
That
to
said,
make?
see Raccoon City, it rules.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
that's
see
more
Raccoon
based
City.
on
I
the actual game.
forgot. Yeah,
I would
yeah.
love to see that.
Return to
gotta
Raccoon
check that
City.
out.
But
But
you're
again,
right.
I guess we'll see with the Mario. Mario, that could be really good or it could be really bad, I guess, or it could be in the middle.
He's gotta
Uh,
say wahoo. If he doesn't say wahoo, I'll be
It could be a
upset.
movie?
Yeah.
But again, it's like, who do we get to play Mario? Chris Pratt, the most, blandest white guy that we can think of, not Italian. I don't know. It's weird. It's like, who are making the decisions?
Well, the voice actor who does Mario's stuff forever could still do it.
Right.
That's why it's
Yeah.
baffling.
Yeah. But this is, like you said, this is a case where they actually put some effort in and it turned out pretty good. I'm probably maybe the most negative person or the least positive out of all of us about the Sonic franchise, as a whole, but I still had fun. I think it's a solid, 3 out of 5 on the old scale, which is what I would put most Marvel movies, those kind of movies. So it's right up there. It's perfectly average or a little above average.
The
for
fact
me.
that it's at least as good as half the Marvel movies as a Sonic movie
Yeah.
is pretty damn good.
Yeah. I don't have too much negative to say about it. So good job, Sonic.
Nice.
Adam, what about you?
Well, I think my experience might be slightly skewed by going out into the world for one of the first times, like and hanging out with friends in person. But I think it's a great kids movie. I think it's very competent. Again, we've all said this. But the biggest surprise for me was, man, I can't remember the last time I have laughed this much at a movie, period, the end. Like, I walked out going, like, wow, that was better than any of the other movies I could have watched in this theater, I think. Like, I had a great time. I was just reveling in watching, again, Jim Carrey's performance as Dr. Eggman, who was my favorite meme before memes existed. I always thought Dr. Eggman was hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope to see this again. And I don't watch a lot of movies multiple times, but the ones I do, I watch a lot. So who knows? Maybe by the time
Wow.
I die, I will have seen Sonic 2 like 10 times or
Wow.
something.
Wow.
We'll find out.
I'm gonna say
Wow,
one
very
other
cool.
thing about the theater experience. I thought it was really great, and I've had some great theater experiences recently. I don't know what it is about this
People are
post-pandemic
amped right
world
now.
now.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was great, and then that Everything Everywhere movie, I went and saw that, and with an audience that was fucking loving it, cracking up the whole
Damn.
time, and it's just fun to be back in the movies, I think.
Nice. Yeah, kids were pretty behaved. We went to a matinee at like 4:00. Kids were
Yeah.
pretty good. But yeah, Colin, what about your final
And the
thoughts?
night Sunday again, Mike. Just the idea that these kids had school the next day, and you couldn't have fucking sworn that they had a care in the world because they're wearing their fucking Sonic shirts, elbowing their mom. Going like, that's. I heard one kid just go, "That's Tails." It's just
Right.
like, tell their parent like, look, it's happening. And again, that same mom to be laughing so hard at the wedding stuff. It's just like you can't ask for a better time.
Colin,
That's
do you
what I mean. It's
remember
a force for good. It is nothing but a net positive for the world that movie came out. Yeah.
right at the beginning when they have that title screen that just says Seattle? Some kid was like, "That's not Seattle," and I was like, "How do you know, kid? You've probably never been to fucking Seattle. You're just a little kid."
True.
But it was hilarious.
Mhm.
It
That's
was.
Before I forget, I also just want to mention Ben Schwartz also having fun in the role. He beat a bunch of Sonic games as promo going into the movie.
No
So good
kidding.
on him.
Twitching that
you know.
stuff.
He
Good on
beat
him.
Probably a
Sonic 2
dream
and
role
Sonic
for him.
3. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that's
He talks
awesome.
about, bringing the kid energy to it. I wanted him to be a fun, happy kid. Like, that was my take on Sonic. And it's like, man, that reads. Like Jacob said, he is so likable as a lead character to this
Little
franchise.
scale.
Yeah.
Which,
He also does
Yeah.
a reference to his Parks and Rec character at one point.
oh my God, the worst! He does. That's John Ralphio is so funny. Now, if you put two cards in front of someone, or Matrix style, two pills, and said, the blue pill here, the easiest pill for you to take, is a kind of an army-based show about a guy in a super suit who just has a gun and he hunts aliens. And then the other pill is the lead character of the movie you have to make is a blue hedgehog. You'd be like, give me that fucking safe pill, baby. Like, I understand Halo. That makes sense to me.
There's After Effects presets for this one.
Yeah, exactly. This Jeff Fowler, he's a second-time director in that he was a first-time director with Sonic 1. And he was just an effects animator guy who had done a lot of the digital character creation in one of those old 3D Sonic games. Like I think it might just even be called Sonic, like the 2012 one or
Whoa.
something, right? So,
Coming
you
from
know,
the games. That's awesome.
it's like, is that the steadiest hand to have in charge of this? I don't know. He seems to literally know what the audience wants because, again, the people that were surrounding me, they could not have had a complaint for this film, and I love that. I'll just say this real quick. I think about that. I listen to and think about that first closing Wiz Khalifa song, "Turn It Up." That ends with the little as we said, the sprite character original Sonic design.
Yeah.
Wiz Khalifa, the best name in writing original songs for fast franchises, where I get a little like misty eyed.
Oh dang, you're right.
Yeah.
And the two times where I smiled like a madman, both in this movie, were the opening Sonic title card, where I get to see the collage of all the video games I enjoyed as a
Sega properties,
kid.
yep.
Where like
Rad.
I'm like sipping an icy sitting next to Jacob, and like a screen the size of my house has like a golden act frame on it. It's like what? How privileged am I? People are dying on the other side of the fucking planet. Like the world does not make sense. Okay.
No.
No.
That Marvel
true.
logo
Very
that
true.
like the Sega does though with all the
Yes.
legacy
I
it's
noticed that. Yeah.
it works.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And then that ending where again we go into the 16 bits or the 8 bits and they're running around and jumping. I just it's just like by the time this thing's over, you just want to be like, you did it. You took me on the ride, you motherfuckers. Like you just want to clap.
And the cool thing about those credit scene is they literally retell the plot of the movie just in 16-bit
the whole
action.
thing.
Yeah, all the way.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool.
And you gotta love it's got the nostalgia effect for people our age, and it's got the kid effect where it's popular with the kids, and that's all it really needs to have, and it's going to be successful that way. So,
and when you think about, again, we joked, but what the people at DC are doing, where they're like, God, why isn't our fucking franchise connecting with anybody? We make them dark and gritty, and there's murder, and kids can't see them, and the people who do have a very particular view of how they want their version of it, and we're never going to live up to that.
Right.
Why don't people like this? You go like, and these people criticize the Marvel effect, which is like, yeah, they're pretty much all kid movies. Like, they're pretty much like, we're just trying to make our lead characters as likable as possible.
Yeah.
And make kids like them, and buy, Marvel underwear, and crack Deadpool jokes to their mom. And when they do, we won. And DC, like people don't like Superman anymore. And you're like, you don't like Superman.
The most wholesome
the most successful DC movies have been like the most kid friendly for the most part, like Wonder Woman 1 and Aquaman.
Yes.
Which
Shazam
didn't
was
buy
received
dark
well.
and gritty as much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the Suicide Squad, which is more adult, but that's their one exception.
Lighter in tone.
Yeah.
Though.
Looney Tunes humor that if you're like from our generation, your babysitter mom is like renting you the Suicide Squad when you're like 12, and it's like your new favorite movie. You know,
and that's like as violent as the Deadpool movies, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They need to.
Take
Guess
a
what?
page out of Sonic's book.
A phrase I never thought. They need to talk to Sega and say, whatever you guys are doing over there, please teach us, because we don't have a grasp on this thing at all, and your little blue hedgehog runs in about twice a year and fucking sweeps our candy ass.
And our Flash movie is a huge mess because the actor keeps getting in trouble.
We're terrified to do
And
that press
Fantastic
tour.
Beasts, so it's like, when our franchise...
all of it. Like, literally Warner Brothers needs to go like, we need to hit pause on everything. And just check out Sonic, man. And that's my recommendation to the listeners.
Follow Sonic.
I do see a parallel universe really quick where John Cena got a spin-off as an unlikely character in Peacemaker from Suicide Squad on HBO Max, and now we get Idris Elba, Bloodsport, becoming a spin-off on P+.
Amazing.
So he has his chance to make a villainous character more likable, so we'll see how that works. They're both getting paid. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks, Adam, for being on. And in a minute here, after, we're going to say our names again. So there we go.
Chili dog.
That's right.
Chili dogs, yeah.
I'll just say the words chili dog.
I like what it says also, we're not watching Snow Dogs again. That was a chili dog.
Yes.
He should have said that. Yeah.
Hilarious. I also thought that dog was really funny in this movie when they put the hairs on him.
Yeah.
But as Mike said, we've been your hosts. But first, check us out at Normies_like_us. Rate, review, subscribe. Helps us out. Leave a comment. Tell us that you're watching these Sonic movies. Tell us that you're playing the Sonic games. We will get a huge kick out of that. And check us out there. Adam, is there anything you would like to plug?
You can check out my now turning twice weekly Star Wars podcast.
Wow.
Got a mini episode every week about Star Wars Topps trading cards, and then a longer form episode. We're just kind of warming up, like figuring out how to podcast right now. But I think by the time this Obi-Wan show starts coming out, we're going to be trying to release day of, Obi episodes to go along.
Amazing. I'm going to publicly ask on air then to be on that. Oh my God, so that I can talk about my Boba Fett card, which I was showing off to these guys the other week.
Oh, yeah.
I would love for you all to appear on that podcast.
Please.
I would love to be on
honor.
it. Of course. And Adam, I wanted to tell you, I've been subscribed and I've been listening and I've been enjoying it a lot. So thank you.
Thank you. I think you may be our only listener.
Where can you subscribe? if someone wanted to go out and find it, where would that be?
Yeah, you can look up The Cargo Bay in Spotify or iTunes, or you can go to thecargobaypod.com. All of our socials are at The Cargo Bay Pod, so if that doesn't exist, it ain't us. We aren't on the platform. I think we're just on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm subscribing to you on Apple Podcasts right now.
And you know what they should do if they are on Apple Podcasts? Leave a rating and review on the Cargo Bay, as well as Normies Like Us while you happen to be there, because it really helps us out a lot. And
flip on over right now.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys stopping by. And thank you, Adam, again for being on the show. It's been awesome as ever.
Thank you guys so much.
It's an honor.
This was truly a delight. Like just one of the highlights of my 2022 so far. So thank you.
Wow.
Aw, that's high praise. So thank you. But I
All
guess
right, let's run out of here, right?
outta here.
Because we've been your hosts. This is Dr. Colin Ochnick.
Michaels.
This is Shadow the Jacob.
I'm Adam the Nutria.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Meow.